But what is belief? Belief, I've been thinking about the word belief a lot, and it's probably what I'm diving into. And I've been reading about the Bible, not about the Bible, I've been reading the Bible, New Testament, and diving down different philosophies. One book I'm reading in particular is called The Jesus I Thought I Knew. And that book's pretty fascinating because it's coming from a standpoint of a similar place where I can imagine a lot of people that were brought up in religion or brought up with an ideology that was kind of just, I don't want to say forced upon them. In some ways it was, and in other ways just the period in the time and the society that was the common ground and the common place that if you didn't follow along, at least in my experience and in the author's experience, that was his case. And not be able to ask questions, and when you ask questions you were shut down right away. But having said all that, I'm just trying to say where this idea is coming from. But belief is a powerful thing, because even if you go to the Vikings, right, or even going into the most recent war or any war, or any type of dangerous situation, if you believe in something, like if you believe in a heaven, or if you believe in an afterlife, or if you truly believe, not like just say I believe in something and then you don't really believe in it, you don't practice the things to believe in it or invest in those things. The idea of belief is a powerful thing, and it could also be a dangerous one, but I'm going to focus on the powerful aspect of it, because you or I or anyone that believes in something has a freedom that not other people have. An atheist can believe that there is nothing, right? And there's belief in that, and I guess there's a certain freedom with that, but there's not really any moral ground other than the moral ground they try to choose for themselves. And I'm not here to knock down atheism in any way. Each person has their own path, and everyone will walk their own path, and will have life events that will happen to them that will dictate which way they go, and depending how they choose to interpret whatever thing that happens to them will lead them on that path. That's where free will comes from. Either way, the Vikings, right, they're going into a battle and they believe in this idea of Valhalla, and you go in with this idea that to look at the person next to you and say, like, to truly go into it because you believe that you will have this afterlife, and hey, I'll see you on the other side. I'm gonna go into this battle as free as I can and just leave it up to the gods in their case, or a god. And just, I say that with an admiration and almost an envy, right? And I'm getting there, right? And I'm getting there through reading and through my own self-exploration and my own understanding and my own way of understanding something bigger than myself. And my foundation with that is Christianity. Throughout the military, I claim to be non-denominational. I wasn't brought up Catholic. I went through a bunch of different churches, and Baptist and like non-denominational churches. In the military, I went to Pentecostal churches. I went to a whole slew of churches. I even went to Catholic churches, and it's the same, similar doctrine, but with their own nuances to it. And that's where it gets kind of murky, because you have this person interpreting the Bible, and but they're dictating what they interpret the Bible to be, and they're teaching this doctrine to you, as opposed to me reading it or this individual reading it. And maybe some of those people in church did those things. I just didn't at that time. I carried a small Bible with me that I was issued to when on my first deployment, and I still have that little Bible with me. Is it in here? No, I think it's in my other vehicle. Either way, and I always had this loose belief, right? And I'm in a different place with it than I was 5 or 6 or 7 years ago, right? And I'm trying to get this book real quick. Let me grab this book. This is the book I was talking about. The Jesus I never knew. You see, I jacked that up. Either way, that book's pretty fascinating, right? It's asking these questions and these concepts that I would have never, like, even reading it, I was like, how are you asking it so publicly, right? Because, and it was just my natural reaction, right? I understand that free speech and all these things, right? But it's approaching it from a standpoint that, one, I didn't have the understanding or the experience to ask these questions or the knowledge, and two, it's just a different place, right? And it's helping me understand not only societal beliefs and this dictation that society tries to force people in their idea of something, but it's also like understanding what the times were in Jesus's time through the several books of research that Philip Yancey did, and that's going to these different libraries and reading these hundreds of books on, as he claims, about Jesus, right? The individual. And Jesus is just Yahuwah was actually his name. It wasn't Jesus, but that means Messiah. And to understand that there were other messiahs at that time claiming to be the Messiah or the messenger. But I digress. Go back to belief, right? And belief is a powerful thing, right? Because to truly believe in something is everything. Because, I mean, if you throw in the placebo effect is, and you can do your own research on what the placebo effect is, but it's just this where they take all these patients, they give some of them the actual whatever medicine that it is, and then they give other people like sugar pills that it's not the medicine. And the placebo effect, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was almost better or equal to whatever the medicine was, meaning that the person believed that it was going to fix or do whatever the thing was that it claimed to do. Belief in healing, belief in a practice, belief in the intent, and knowing what I know about, or the research I've gone through with water, and we are water, and water having memory, the molecules and how they can be dictated by an external presence in the way of somebody else's energy, whether it be negative or positive, can manipulate those molecules. But belief, the intent, and the understanding of that is very powerful. And I don't know what other word to choose but other than powerful, because if you believe in something, it shows more promise than believing in nothing. Because for a while there, I kind of navigated my world in the idea of my own existence and my own control, or my idea of control in whatever I was doing. And I was just kind of like aimlessly bumping into random things, and that whether that be alcohol, whether that be fighting, whether that be eating like shit, whatever. There's all these number of things where trying to maintain relationships that didn't serve me in whatever way negatively, whether it be family, friends, or I don't know, leaders or what have you. But to go back to it, belief, I will go one step further, is to try not to put your belief in, how can I say this? It is not ideal to believe in another human. You can say I believe in another human, but also understand that they are human and they will fail you, because we're human. We jack up all the time. We're not perfect. I'll just leave it at that. Belief. Find what you believe in, do your research, and really try to understand it for yourself, and not try to allow somebody else's idea of belief to dictate because it's not going to be, it's like building a house on sand with no proper foundation. It's going to be loose. It's not going to, because you really don't have any experience or understanding in this thing that you're choosing to believe in, because you're always going to be, there's nothing going to be shoring it up, because it's somebody else's idea and their conviction. If you go to wherever you go and you choose to believe in this or that, then you will choose to believe it based off of somebody else's idea. And on the other side of it, right, if you choose to believe in something good, that will dictate the way you see the world and how you move around the world and what you attract in the world. Because if you believe in something negative or evil, because at the very basis there is good and evil. That I know for sure. And that's kind of where my baseline is. I've seen good in the world and I've seen evil in the world. And everyone can rely on their own experiences to say yes or no to that. We are all capable, including myself, of good and evil. It's just given the proper circumstances for somebody to choose that. And that's why we have to lean on our morality and what we choose to believe, because that will dictate what we do, either good or evil. Those are the bumpers of life and this existence. Take that for what it's worth. If you want to hear more on that or want to have a conversation about it, I'm still peeling back the onion, because for me, if I choose to believe in something, I truly want to understand it for myself and not rely on this person or that person's idea or their convictions on it. I can hear testimonies, but I'd rather rely on my own than somebody else's, because if those other people aren't there for me to lean on when I truly need something to believe in, then I'm SOL, because I chose to rely on somebody else's conviction rather than my own. Take that for what it's worth. Take care. Have a good one. And ponder on the idea of belief and what it means to you. All right, out.